All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got some brand new patch notes, hot off the printing press. If you guys didn't know, 11.1 is going to be coming out soon. We got a little bit more PTR development notes for February 4th. More class tuning and delves have been nerfed. So it made some changes to drive, which if you guys didn't know is a new like Tokyo drift mounts. You guys know how that like dragon riding completely revolutionized flying in World of Warcraft? And Dragonflight Drive might have that potential. And I do wonder if this is something that they'll end up implementing for more than just this patch. Like if it goes over well, like customizable mounts that you can drift in and are super quick. Like, I wonder if people actually like that. Drive seems purely for this patch, but not sure. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe if players really like it, they'll keep it. All right, so class changes. Death Knight. Death coil damage reduced. Magus of the Dead damage increased. Doomed Bidding now summons a Magus of the Dead for 6 seconds. Was 8 seconds. Commander of the Dead now increases the damage of Gargoyle and Army of the Dead by 45%. Was 35%. And Gargoyle damage has been increased. So Death coil damage was reduced, and it seems like pet damage has been increased for Unholy Death Knights. All horsemen damage increased by 10%. Oh, more NPC damage. Great. Activating Vengeful Retreat now enforces a brief cooldown for Feltblade, similar to its behavior with Fell Rush. So you can't Vengeful Retreat Fellblood immediately. There's going to be a short cooldown. Activating Fellblade shortly after Vengeful Retreat will now cancel Vengeful Retreat's movement if Fellblade's target is too close to dash to it. Okay. Fellsguard, Student of Suffering, bonus mastery value reduced by 33% and duration reduced. Oh no. I like that one. I think, do I play Fellsguard? What are the two? I think I do play Fellsguard. Havoc, Cycle of Hatred is now a 1-point talent. Demon Surge now causes Metamorphosis to increase Fury Regeneration. Genera by Demon Blade by 3. Okay, Vengeance. All right, this is the tank stuff. Let's take a look. Fallout's chance to generate soul fragments has been increased at lower target counts, with 1 guaranteed soul fragment generated. Feed the Demon is now 1-point talent. Feed the Demon now reduces the cooldown of Demon Spikes by 0.35 seconds. Fellscar, Demon Surge damage reduced by 20%. Burning Blades now deals 40% of listed ability damage over 6 seconds. Evoker. You know what's really crazy is Flame Shaper. Flame Shaper has to be one of the most underplayed things. I wonder if it'll end up being good. Consume Flame will not properly have its radius increased when striking larger enemies. Consume Flame damage increased by to 900% of 1 tick of Fire Breath was 750. Fixed an issue where engulf damage was being increased by damage over time effects from other evokers. Upheaval from Liberation of Undermine 2 set no longer increases the duration of Ebb and Might. Fire Breath's damage over time increased by 15%. Eternity Surge damage increased by 20%. Scintillation triggers Eternity Surge at 40% was 50%. So they buffed your actual casted Eternity Surge, and your proc Eternity Surge is a little bit worse. Black Arrow damage has been increased for hunters, for Beast Mastery hunters. Pack Leader. Pack Leader bear damage reduced by 20%. Marksman. True Shot now increases your critical strike damage by 20%. Survival. Mongoose Bite damage increased by 30%. Raptor Strike damage increased by 10%. Wildfire Bomb damage increased by 10%. Wyvern damage, a bonus increased to 15%. So we got Survival Hunter buffs. Arcane Mage, Arcane Barrage damage increased by 20%. Intuition damage, bonus increased to 50%. And its duration has been reduced to 3 seconds. Intuition. Unleashed Inferno damage bonus increased to 70%. Sun King's Blessing damage bonus reduced. Hypothermia chance to trigger has been increased. I hate hypothermia. Personally, hate hypothermia. I don't like it at all. And hypothermia, if you guys didn't know, is like the proc where you can just pyro over and over and over. I really don't like it. Wintertide has been updated. Now grants 4% increased Icicle and Glacial Spike damage, stacking 2 times. Glacial Spike no longer consumes Winter Tide. Spellslinger. Splintering Orb Frost Splinters generate reduced to 4 was 5. Spellfrost Teaching chance to trigger reduced to 2. So Spellslinger Frost was being a little bit too much fun, huh? Dragonflight, you said it was the most fun dopamine kick to get hyperthermia, time warp, proc overlap. Yes, but the problem... So, people, you included, wish that Pyroblast did more damage. I think that would be great if Pyroblast did more damage, but it's not realistic that Pyroblast can do more damage when things like hypothermia exist. You know what I mean? Like, Pyroblast is fated to do 0 damage because you can knock out 80 of them in a row instantly. It cannot be balanced. That's the problem. So if they made Pyroblast procs less frequent, they could giga buff the damage on it, which I think would be way more fun, personally. Ret Paladin. Crusade will now consistently display the correct spell visual when Glyph of Winged Vengeance is used. Great. Priest. Shadow. Casting Power Infusion now adds to the duration of your current Power Infusion when using the Liberation of Undermined Forset up to a maximum duration of 30 seconds. Nice. Rogue. Deathstalker. Fixed several issues with singular focus that prevented its application from being reliable. Great. Enhancement Shaman. Liberation of Undermined Forset bonus. Each stack of Electrostatic Wagner will now increase the damage of Crash Lightning by 18%. Liberation of Undermined Forset bonus. Electrostatic Wager will now only increase the initial damage of Crash Lightning. Developers note, we found that the interaction between Electrostatic Wager and the cleave damage of Crash Lightning is creating a more complex decision-making process than we intended. Stormbreaker. Awakening Storms will now grant Tempest every 4 seconds. Voltaic Surge now increases the damage of Crash Lightning and Chain Lightning by 10. Oh, wow, interesting. Fix the issues that could cause new Colossus Smash and Warbreaker visuals to not be displayed correctly. Prop Paladins, or Prop Warriors, pardon me. Prop Warrior is a very active spec requiring constant decision-making, both for tank as well as managing cooldown resets. However, there's been elements of the current design that can lead to Protection Warrior being requiring more active play than we intend. Frequent shield slam cooldown resets are one part of the issue, as they occupy a large amount of the rotation, generating a significant amount of rage. This leaves little room in the rotation to spend rage on anything that uses the global cooldown, and coupled with protection major cooldown generation, a large amount of additional rage leads to using Ignore Pain frequently, even when it provides little or no mitigation value. To address this, we're reducing the frequency of shield slam cooldown resets and rage regenerated by major cooldowns, and in exchange, supplementing rage regeneration from passive or rotational sources. It is our goal that this will make protection easier to approach and play to start leaving plenty of room for skillful and active play at higher levels. So they made it so the chance to reset the cooldown of Slam from Devastator and Strategist reduced to 25 was 20. Ignore Pain icon now displays the remaining absorb as a percentage of the maximum absorb. Punish reduces the damage the punish target deals to you by 3%. And then delves. All right, developers notes. In season 1, tiers above 8 were meant purely for players who wanted a challenge. Now that we have a more desirable reward such as Gilded Crest on tier 11, we wanted to review the difficulty levels of these tiers along with our philosophy behind them. We had previously balanced them with the thought that tier 11 would be a challenge for all players in the game, even up to the mythic high levels. In Season 2, we're changing our philosophy for Tier 11 to be the highest challenge for Delve players, which means it's balanced around what fully upgraded gear players can get within the Delve ecosystem, as opposed to the entire game. So they made Delves easier. They made 9, 10, and 11 Delves easier. Okay. Tank Brand will now receive 50% reduced healing while unconscious. The creation of Tank Brand means healers have a version of Brand where they can focus on healing and have aggro properly pulled off of them. In testing Tank Brand, we found that it was easy to get him back from unconscious with base healing, that it meant there was no penalty for failing to heal him, and therefore a lack of challenge for healers focusing on the spec. We've lowered the healing he receives while unconscious to encourage healers to use their full kit to keep Brand alive. Great. Torque's Big Red Button, retuned as a 2-minute effect. These are some of the new raid trinkets. They nerfed them a little bit. Well, they buffed them, actually, sorry. They lower the cooldown on them. All right, and then let's see. There is some PvP specific notes. Flame Shaper Consume Flame is now reduced by 60% in PvP combat. Was 40. Engulf is now reduced by 70%. Was 60. That's so interesting to me. Like, these numbers had to be ridiculous because literally nobody plays Flame Shaper Evoker in PvP. And when I say literally nobody, I mean nobody. The amount of Flame Shaker Evokers I fought is 0. Like, literally none. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's getting a bunch of other changes that are just not in these notes. I'm sure there are, but it'll be interesting to see. Eternity Surge damage reduced by 20%. Aww. So they nerfed Eternity Surge. Dang it. I was thinking that the big fatty Eternity Surges would be nice, but they nerfed it, unfortunately. But yeah, these are some of the updated notes, guys. There's a ton of notes going into 11.1. It's going to be exciting to see how all the changes kind of pan out. Yeah, Windwalker Monk is getting a bunch of big changes. Mistweaver Monk, basically every class is going to be, it's going to be wild. It's going to be the Wild West. I'm excited for Season 2. It should be very refreshing, especially with some of the PvP crowd control changes that they're doing. Yeah, like things like Polymorph aren't going to break immediately on 1 point of damage, so CC should be a little bit more meaningful. Even though I already think CC's crazy, CC is going to be even crazier. So all those people that love CC, get ready. Get ready, boys. It's coming.